Hi, this is Dave T1963, and I thought I'd do something a little bit different this year. Rather than wait right before season, I'm going to go ahead and do a series of videos on the 3 hunting kits that I have and that I plan on using in the 2021 season. I've got a saddle hunting kit that I use that I'll cover in more detail in a later video. I've got a ground hunting system that I use. And then I've also got, believe it or not, Dave T1963 actually uses tree stands. And I've got a new tree stand kit that I put together for mobile hunting. And I'll make separate videos for all 3 of them. But, you know, I just kind of wanted to do this intro to kind of go over why I have different systems. As most of you are aware, public land hunting has really caught on in the land that we have down here in Texas is very small and limited in size, and I'd say 70% of the public land in Texas is not even open to deer hunting. The little bit that is open to any day access for public land hunting is heavily pressured. I hear all these videos and hear all these people talking about Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, and then I've been to some of those places. I've seen how much pressure. I see the videos that they put out. I'll tell you right now that some of our public land in Texas is pressured just as much, if not more, than some of those other places. There was one spot I was in last year. There was about, I'm going to say, 200 acres of public land. It's probably within an hour of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so you can kind of search it out and figure out where it is. It's grasslands. But anyway, this one small portion of that I chose to hunt, I pulled in that parking lot at 3 a.m. and got set up and went out and hunted, didn't see anything. But at daylight, I saw headlight after headlight after headlight off in some of the more hunter-friendly areas as people started pouring in that area. So I waited till about 9 o'clock. I got up and I left early. When I got back to the parking lot, now keep in mind, this is a 200 acre at the most block of public land. There was 17 cars in that parking lot and around the road for that one small area. So public land in Texas, if you don't believe that during bow season, go hunt public land in Texas and you'll quickly see how pressured it is. Probably, like I said, 60%, 70% of the public land that Texas says that is available for hunting. One, you need a permit. You can only hunt during 2 or 3 days out of the entire year. Or 2, it's not open to big game. It's not open to deer hunting. It's probably open for dove hunting or quail hunting. So just because they declared as public land does not mean that we have a lot of public land. But with that pressure, you have to learn to go where other hunters are. And typically that means hunting in areas where there's no good trees. You know, so a ground system that is flexible enough to where you can set up anywhere on the spur of the moment, to me, is important. My saddle hunting system I love because if I do go to Ohio, or if I go to Missouri or Louisiana or any of the states that I may hunt, Kentucky, Tennessee, I can hunt there with their trees that typically grow pretty straight and tall, or I can get in these mesquite flats and maybe only get up 10 foot. I can hunt with my saddle system out of a whole host of places that have trees that are very different in the way you can hunt them. And same with the tree stand. I really purchased this entire kit for my tree stand this year simply because what I like about a tree stand and the way I'm going to set it up is I can carry a lot of weight on that and I can pack out a deer using it. So if I'm going in very far deep, which typically there's a lot of places I'm kayaking for 2 to 5 miles and then walking in another mile or so to get to the hunting spots that I like. And I'm not wanting to make 2 or 3 trips, you know, to go get a sled or a game cart and pack things out and all that. So I like a system where I can either pack them out while I'm hunting right there if I'm fortunate enough to take a buck, or I can even quarter or bone them out. I prefer to bone out a deer if I'm back in there that far and take them out on my way out, carrying all the gear that I hunted with that day and another 70 to 80 pounds worth of deer meat on my back. And this system, and I'll go ahead and cover what I chose. Now, I'm probably going to get some hate mail over the kit that I got, simply because it don't come from one person. These are kind of competitors, and I understand all that, and I don't get involved in all that who's right and wrong and debating and all that. I picked this gear out because for me right now, it was just the best gear that fits my needs. I like a very small profile tree stand. I've always used Lone Wolf since the day they came out. But as soon as Lone Wolf Custom Gear announced that they were coming out with that 0.5 and I saw the specs on that, I knew I was getting that. That's exactly the tree stand that I got. I love the fact that this seat creates a platform. Okay, now I've bought their double step sticks and I've bought their new regular sticks. I don't know what they're called, and they're good sticks. I'm not going to knock them, but for me they didn't work like I wanted them to work. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. But this stand is phenomenal. It's the perfect size for me. I'm 5'10". I weigh anywhere from 190 to 205 depending on when you catch me, and I don't have size 14 foot boots. I guess it's normal size. I wear 9.5 to 10 men's boots. This stand is perfect for me, whether I'm sitting or standing. It offers me just enough space to be comfortable. And I don't use a safety harness when I hunt. I use my tree saddle even when I'm hunting from this, and I'll demonstrate that later on how I use that. But I absolutely love this stand. Now, the sticks that I'm going with to use just with this stand are the new Beast small mini sticks, or whatever they're called. I use 3 of them. I've got a video that covers these. But what I do is I lay these horizontally and up against the tree bracket, just like this. So you can see the profile. These sticks do not stick out past maybe 2 inches on each side of the platform, and probably aren't as wide as my shoulders. But I'll put these sticks on here, and then I'll put my Kathy Kelly flexible pack, it's 100% fleece pack, on top of this and bungee it down, and I've got a very compact system, very lightweight, very mobile. I'm sitting here holding this with one hand right now, okay? This is a very lightweight mobile setup that once again gives me the opportunity to carry a lot of water because it gets hot down here, food for the day. And then if I get lucky and I wind up killing a deer, I can pack out or bone out a deer, put it in my Kathy Kelly and some game bags and a trash bag I carry in there, and I can come out with all my hunting gear in one trip. Okay? And this gives me the flexibility, like I said. I can go in, I haven't used this stand, but I used Lone Wolf for years. I feel confident that I can walk in just about any environment that has trees and get this stand set up. We'll see how that works out, but this really isn't too much bigger than a saddle platform. Weighs about 2.5 times as much as my tethered platform, but I don't see it going to be that big of a problem to get this up in a tree. Okay, and I'm not one of those people that looks for all these crooked, crazy trees to hunt in. If I can't find a semi-straight tree or pretty straight tree, I'm going to hunt from the ground. Okay, the way I hunt is with traditional gear, and so I don't have I've got a compound and I've used it because of a shoulder problem that I've had, but with traditional gear, I can't see a buck coming in and draw my bow while he's behind some brush and then wait a minute or two for him to walk out into my shooting lane to shoot. Can't do it. I'm shooting 60-pound traditional equipment, and like I said, I've got a bad shoulder, so most of the time I'm drawing my bow, aiming, looking at the spot I want to hit, and then I release. So that deer's already in my shooting lane within 20 yards. Okay, so I'm not trying to walk around trees and all that nonsense that I keep hearing, getting 40 foot up in a tree. That's just asking for a one-lung, poor blood trail, in my opinion. When you're talking about, most of my shots are 15 yards and under. So when you're shooting at that steep of an angle, it don't work for me. in traditional gear. Okay, so walking around a tree wall, bucks 15 yards from the base of your tree and you're 12 to 14 foot up is not a good idea. Okay, and I'm just going to leave it at that. But you got to use the equipment and the gear for how you hunt as a hunter. All of it works. All of these are tools. Okay, each one of these kits have strengths and weaknesses, and I'll kind of go over them as I cover each individual kit. So you have to pick out what's going to work for you and where you hunt. If you go into some of my previous videos, you'll see when I prep a tree, and I prep 30 to 40 every year, I put down exactly what equipment I need to hunt that spot. I put which way my shooting lanes are, which way the wind needs to be blowing, how I approach in it. I usually take an aerial photograph of that spot. So when I'm hunting pre-selected ideas, I know exactly what to take. But over the last few years, especially with the pandemic last year, the woods were absolutely crowded. Everywhere I went, they were crowded. And it forced me to abandon a lot of areas. With all these videos about public land hunting and hunting hidden spots and da-da-da-da-da, it's getting harder and harder to find spots. So you got to be adaptable and flexible. You've got to watch what's going on around you. I probably spend 30% of my scouting time identifying where other people are hunting and marking that off of where I'm going to hunt. Okay. So anyway, these are my kits. Waldrop's pack saddle is going to be my ground hunting system. The .5 with the B sticks is going to be my tree stand system, and then saddle will be the tethered platform, the Predator or the Phantom saddle, and their one sticks. And I'll cover each one of these in more detail in a later video. If you have any questions, comments, or you want to see something in those videos, drop them in the comments below, and we'll see where this goes. Dave T1963 out.